Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today we're going to review Wong's Rolex Plus collection. And the the note that Wong sent me, he's 30 years old and has collected these watches. He said, some friends of his said, "Oh, you got to get a Rolex," and so he got one, and he got another and another. So that was his sort of how he started off. And so let's take a look at Wong's collection. And the first one is a GMT Master 2, and I like the GMT Master 2. It's one of those ones I've always liked because basically it was one of the very first watches that I looked at for a GMT, for dual time, for traveling, and so on and so forth. I think that's a great one for a pilot because you can put the GMT or the other time onto Zulu time or GMT time and then use it for that. And this was the sort of the setting that Wong put it in. He put his watches down had some other things around there, I guess with Rolex things, and so that's why it looks the way it does. And so that's his first one, was this the Rolex GMT Master 2. I like the watch a lot. Now the next one is a Rolex Explorer 2, which is also has a GMT to it, and this is the polar version, which is the version that I like. I like the polar version of the Explorer, mainly because I can see the dial better. A lot of times with the black dials, depending on what kind of font they have and the color of the font and everything else, I can't read the thing. But this is a sweet little watch right here. It's on a metal bracelet, and they've really good lume on the indexes and hands. They even have one on the moon on the second hand. This is another nice Rolex. You can use it for travel, or you can just use it for an everyday office watch. Now, this next one. This is an interesting one, I think, the Sea Dweller. The Sea Dweller is, I never was quite sure the difference between the Submariner and the Sea Dweller. But that's okay. I'm not a Rolex guy, but this one, there's something about this one that, as I understand it, is a little special, more so than, let's say, a sub. And here you have, he has it on right now, looks like a NATO strap, and that's great for especially a little rougher bumming around and stuff. And then you have a metal bracelet along with it too. This is a nice watch also. The differences in Rolexes to me aren't as obvious as they are to real Rolex fans. Okay, I'm not one of these Rolex haters, but I'm not a fanboy either. I've got other insanities with watches, but this one I like. I like them all, really. I mean, they're good, dependable watches. Yeah, they're tool watches, but so what? They're good tool watches. All right, moving right along here. Now, this next one is the Datejust, and looking at this one, first of all, it's got Roman numerals, and it seems to have, I don't know why, but it looks more dressy to me. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but when I saw this Datejust, I thought, this looks dressy compared to the other ones. The other ones are, like a pretty much everyday office watch kind of thing. Good reliable watch. But this one looked a little more dressy to it. The Datejust. You've got the big date window and the Cyclop actually, and then you've got a very clean, very clear watch to go with it. So this is another, I think, a nice one in Wong's collection. Now this last one is an El Primero, a Zenith El Primero, and the I wondered why. I said, first of all, there are two things about this watch. There are not a lot of Zenith El Primeros on a sort of a rectangular type of case, and and I was sort of trying to figure out why would somebody get this, and what Wong said, he simply wanted a square or a rectangular dial. I mean, case and dial that went with it, and that makes a lot of sense. Because I associate square rectangular watches with something a little more formal than a chronograph. A chronograph I see as a sort of a workhorse kind of watch, and except for mine, I also have an El Primero. This is has, I forgot what they call it. They have some funny name for the shape. This is a Daniel Roth El Primero, and I was thinking, well, maybe. Yeah, here you have all these Rolexes. El Primero's as a chronograph has an excellent reputation. The movement was once used in the Daytona. Now, rather than getting a Daytona, you can get a Zenith El Primero. They're a lot easier to get. First of all, Daytonas they slap premiums on them all over the place. And they're not as easy to get. You don't have the same kind of choices. So I think it was a very good choice. I really like my chronograph, and I like the El Primero chronograph, and I just really like the Daniel Roth, but I don't use it a lot as a chronograph. The subdials get in the way of telling time and everything else about one. The one that Wong has, I think it's a little easier to tell the time than mine, but I just like looking at mine. Every now and then I'll pop one of the starters and watch the chronograph go around. Okay, now, so Wong said he got started because some friends said, you got to get a Rolex. And he said he's 30 years old, and if he lives to 50, like really old, if he lives to 50, he wants to get a blue Reverso. I thought, okay, well, gee, I hope you make it that long. The thing about it, the reason I'm laughing is that if you have all of these nice Rolexes, and and you like them, and you like the different kinds of metals and ceramics and so forth, and the bezels, you have everything from aluminum to white gold in that. And so here you are, you just turned 30, you're not getting another watch till you turn 50. All right, well, it depends, what I think will happen on your career. Some guy's gonna come in and he's got the keys to the executive washroom and you don't, and he's wearing a Vacheron Constantin or a Audemars Piguet or a Patek Philippe, or God forbid something like a F.P. Journe or a Kerry Vuitton or a Gronfeld, where these things are way up there. What are you going to do? And it's sort of an interesting thing. What my advice was, just keep your collection. Watch collection is a disease that doesn't stop. I suppose you can get more Rolexes, but it seems like, and I think you pointed this out, you got the bases covered pretty well. You got a diver, you got a GMT, you got a Datejust. These are pretty much covering the bases. But the thing is, between now and your blue Reverso, a lot of other stuff may come along. And my advice is, don't listen to anybody. Of course, here I am giving you what I think you ought to do. I think you ought to do whatever you want, but it would be a lot of stuff going between 30 and 50 is going to be happening. If you got kids, you got college, all kinds of other expenses like that. And once by the time you're 50, maybe the kids will be out of the house and stuff, and you have a little money for you and your wife if you're married, and that would be the time to think about it. Interesting one. I really want to thank Wong for sharing his collection with us. And by the way, too, I'm always looking for interesting collections, and send them in. There'll be a little thing at the end of this that also too. This is an invitation to subscribe if you'd like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders with Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.